Hello, my name is Alondra Saldana, and this is my Art 305 Student Art Critic video analysis. Surrealism. Mexico, half awake of its mythological past, keeps evolving under the protection of Xochitl, god of the flowers and lyrical poetry, and Cotelquio, goddess of the earth and of the violent death. This power of the constellation of life and death is without a doubt the principal attractive that Mexico offers. This keeps an open record of endless sensations, from the most benign to the most insidious. Andre Breton, leader of the Surrealism movement, said this of Mexico's culture and art when visiting in 1938 Fernandez. The art that comes from both Mexican-born artists and immigrants provided the world with the influence that the culture had on the artists themselves. The subject of identity, life and death, and the otherworldly can be seen in the works of surrealist artists, such as Frida Kahlo, whose surrealist art often depicted themes of identity, and Leonora Carrington, whose art had themes of the occult and identity. Frida Kahlo, self-portrait with cropped hair, 1940. Magdalena Carmen Frida Kahlo y Calderón was born on July 6, 1907 in Coyoacán, Mexico City, Mexico. Born from a father of German descent and a Mexican mother with indigenous ancestry, she was born into a middle-class family. In 1922, Kahlo suffered multiple injuries, having a steel handrail impaled through her hip from a bus accident which left her physically and psychologically in pain. Due to the injuries she sustained from the accident, she had a full body cast that rendered her from all physical activity for 3 months. While Kahlo was bedridden, she began to paint to pass the time, and by the end of the year had finished her first self-portrait. Kahlo's art reflected her political beliefs and her emotional and physical state while she dealt with her husband, Diego Rivera, another Mexican painter's affairs as well as health complications from her injuries. According to Kahlo's bibliography on FridaKahloFoundation.org, her art showed that she was very influenced by the indigenous Mexican culture and also symbolism. Her art often featured themes of identity, the human body, and death. According to the bibliography, she was labeled a surrealist artist by Andre Breton, a French writer and one of the founders of the surrealist movement. Though Kahlo often rejected the surrealist label, stating, "Really, I do not know whether my paintings are surrealist or not, but I do know that they are the frankest expression of myself." End quote. Still, she is considered one of the most famous Mexican painters of all time. The painting I chose to analyze was Kahlo's self-portrait with cropped hair, painted in 1940. The tumultuous marriage of Kahlo and Rivera had ended with divorce in 1935 after Kahlo discovered that Rivera was having an affair with her sister, Cristina. The artist painted a self-portrait in which Kahlo is seated while wearing a suit with her hair in a short comb-over. I believe this particular painting is an example of Kahlo's emotional state after having to face such a betrayal from the people she loved the most, as well as her shifting identity from a feminine one to a more masculine identity. The painting, as previously stated, depicts Kahlo sitting front and center of the canvas on a chair wearing an oversized suit with a comb-over hair, a pair of scissors in her left hand while holding strands of hair in her right hand. There is hair covering most of the floor, wrapped around the chair and near her feet. The expression on Kahlo's face is serious but calm. It's as if the viewer is looking at the aftermath. At the top of the painting are the lyrics, "Mira, que si te quise fue por el pelo, ahora que estás pelona, ya no te quiero," which translates to, "Look, if I loved you, it was because of your hair. Now that you are bald, I don't love you anymore." There are also musical notes at the bottom of the verse. The colors in this painting are warm with other colors like the red tie that Kahlo is wearing. The lines are clean, and the painting has a dreamy atmosphere, as the hair looks like it became alive because the hair sprawled out on the floor and wrapped itself around the chair. Having other artwork by the artist in mind, such as the two Fridas, 1939, Gallo usually painted herself wearing a Tewana dress or modern dresses. However, in self-portrait with cropped hair, she is wearing a suit as if she has relinquished her feminine identity. Another indicator that Gallo had abandoned her feminine identity was that her hair was short and the scissors in her hand implied that Gallo cut it herself. The artist, especially in this era, is breaking a gender construct due to the modern masculine attire. This self-portrait could be said to be Gallo's testament to her independence and new identity after marriage and betrayal. The second work of art I will be analyzing is Leonora Carrington's And Then We Saw the Daughter of the Minotaur, 1953. Mary Leonora Carrington was born on April 6, 1917, in England. Carrington belonged to an aristocratic family until she left for Paris, France, in order to pursue her artistic endeavors. Although most of Carrington's family were unsupportive of her interest in art, especially her father, her mother encouraged her to pursue her dreams. It was in Paris where she met other European surrealist artists such as Remedios Varo before fleeing to New York due to World War I, and finally settling in Mexico City, Mexico, Maine's Umland. Now, Carrington is considered one of the last surrealist artists of the movement of the 1930s. The artwork And Then We Saw the Minotaur, and Then We Saw the Daughter of the Minotaur, 1953, was a very dreamlike atmosphere, typical of surrealist art. I chose this painting because it takes the viewer to another world and shows the Carrington's interest and influence in the occult and magic or witchcraft. At the top of the painting, there are clouds and stars coming in through the arc. In the center is a white figure, two children, and a minotaur gathered around a table that has crystal balls in the middle. In the bottom right corner, there are two dogs and a wilting rose, along with a few orbs at the feet of the table. At the top, there is a white figure dancing in a spotlight. The minotaur is looking at the viewer while the other subjects in the painting are looking away. The interior that they're in looks like a castle, perhaps belonging to the white figure, as she is the largest figure in the painting. The white figure is said to have been Carrington's own portrayal of herself as a white goddess, Maine's Umland, while the other figures, like the Minotaur, are of Greek mythology and the crystal balls are from occult practices. The color choice in the painting itself are warm colors with cool undertones. The darkest areas in the painting are shadows that contrast the lightest parts of the painting, and the line work is light. The meaning and or story of this painting is subject to the viewer, as Carrington never shared the meaning or story behind her art, because she believes that, quote, art comes from somewhere else, end quote, Letty. From my perspective, I think that the white goddess has brought the children to her castle for the Minotaur to read the crystal ball to them. I believe surrealist art from the era of both Gallo and Carrington made a significant impact on art because they didn't conform to the traditional ways of art itself, and they were women. The simple fact that they were both creative and rebellious women made their art much deeper than those of their fellow surrealist artists. Thank you for watching.